The girl with silver eyes. The school bell rang loudly. It was the first day of the new semester at Red Ridge High School. Students rushed through the gates, laughing, talking, and sharing stories from their break. But then, everything went quiet. Long black hover car stopped at the front of the school. Its doors opened slowly. Two large alien guards stepped out first. Their armor shone under the sun. Then came the girl, tall, slim, with soft blue skin and silver eyes that did not blink. Some students gasped. Others whispered, "Is she real?" She was. Her name was Zira Velnari, the daughter of the Zetherian ambassador. Her presence at the human school was part of a galactic peace program. But Zira wasn't here for friendship. She was here because her father ordered it. Zira stepped forward, calm and quiet, and her school uniform had been modified for her alien body. Her hair shimmered like starlight. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. She simply walked past the crowd, while everyone stared. Inside the school, things were no different. As she entered the classroom, all heads turned. Even the teacher paused mid-sentence. She scanned the room and her glowing eyes locked onto an empty seat, second row next to the window. She walked over and sat down. Quiet, perfect posture, like a statue. "Class, this is Zira," the teacher finally said, clearing her throat. "She's our new student from Zither Prime. Please make her feel welcome." Nobody spoke. At lunch, she walked into the cafeteria. The noise dropped again. Every table was full. But when she walked by, students moved their trays, looked away, or whispered behind hands. She was a stranger here. Not just a new girl. An alien. Zira took a tray and walked slowly, scanning for a place to sit. No one offered. She stood for a while, her silver eyes scanning each face. Then a voice spoke. "You can sit here if you want." She turned. A human boy sat alone at a table near the corner. He looked average. Brown hair, old hoodie, quiet eyes. He didn't smile, just moved, his tray a little to make space. Zira walked over and sat down. She didn't say thank you. He didn't ask questions. They just ate in silence. After a moment, the boy pushed a small packet toward her. "Try this, it's a peanut butter sandwich, it's good." She took it with both hands, sniffed it, then took a bite. Her face didn't change, but after 2 more bites, she finished the whole thing. "Good," she said quietly. Her voice was soft, like wind through glass. "I'm Leo," the boy said. "I know," she replied. Leo raised an eyebrow. "How?" "I read the student files before arriving." He blinked. "Right." A group of boys walked by their table. One of them, a tall kid named Marcus, stopped and looked at Zira. "Hey, alien girl," he said loudly. "You eat brains too, or just sandwiches?" Laughter followed. Zira said nothing. Leo stood up slowly. "Leave her alone." Marcus laughed. "What, you her pet now?" Leo didn't move, didn't fight, but the way he looked at Marcus made something shift. There was calm, but also a warning. Marcus scoffed and walked away. Zira looked at Leo for a long time. Then something strange happened. Her translator implant glitched. She wasn't hearing Leo's words anymore. She was hearing his heartbeat, slow, steady, strong. She blinked fast and tapped the implant behind her ear. "What was that?" she whispered to herself. Leo noticed her blinking. "You okay?" "Yes," she said. But she wasn't sure. That night, Zira sat in her small earth dorm. The walls were too soft. The air smelled too clean. She turned on her comlink and sent a message to her father. Translator implant malfunctioned. Detected heartbeat patterns in one human. Only one. Request analysis. Her father's reply came quickly. "Observe. Stay close to that human. Protect yourself." Zira looked at her reflection. Her silver eyes glowed softly in the dark. "I don't understand humans," she said quietly, "but I think he may be important." Zira sat alone under a tree in the backfield of the school. The wind moved gently through the leaves, but her mind was loud with questions. Her translator implant was still glitching. Every time she came near Leo, she didn't just hear his words, she felt his emotions. The implant wasn't supposed to do that. It was built to understand languages, not hearts. She closed her eyes and tapped the side of her head. The implant buzzed softly and then returned to silence. Normal. Still, she couldn't stop thinking about the moment in the cafeteria, when Leo had stood up for her. Not with weapons, not with power, just with calm courage. It had shaken the bullies, and it had shaken her. Across the field, Leo was sitting on the edge of the broken stone wall. He didn't look at her, but Zira noticed his eyes drift her way now and then. He was quiet, not like the others who watched her as if she were a threat or a joke. He didn't try to study her. He didn't try to avoid her. He simply existed near her, like it was natural. The next class was Earth History. Zira entered late. She scanned the room and saw that the only open seat was next to Leo. She sat down without a word. He glanced at her. Still glitching? He whispered. She looked at him surprised. You noticed? You blink weird when it happens. I don't blink, she replied flatly. You just did, Leo said. Her face stayed still, but her fingers twitched. She didn't like being observed, but for some reason Leo's voice didn't make her feel threatened. Just seen after. Class, she followed him to the hallway. Do you know anything about Earth tech signals? She asked. Leo tilted his head. I build radios sometimes. Why? My translator implant reacts strangely around you. It picks up emotional frequencies, which shouldn't happen. It only started when I met you. Leo scratched his head. Maybe I'm just special. Zira narrowed her eyes. Joking? Half, he replied, grinning a little. She stared at him for a long second. You have a low-frequency emotional wave. It's calm, but dense. That may be affecting my implant. So, you're saying I mess with your brain? No. You disturb my machine, she corrected. They both stood quietly for a moment. Then, Zira added, but not in a bad way. The hallway lights flickered. Zira looked up fast, alert. Leo noticed too. Power problem? He asked. Zira stepped to the wall panel and scanned it with her wrist device. Not power, a signal spike from below. Below the school? Leo asked. She nodded. There's a restricted floor under the building. Alien tech labs. Most are sealed. I didn't know that, Leo said. You weren't supposed to. That night, Zira stood on the balcony of her dorm room. The stars above Earth looked small, distant, different from home. She turned on her comm link again and spoke quietly. Father. The human boy continues to cause system disturbances. Emotional readings are present when I'm near him. But no, threat detected. I believe he's unique. The reply came slowly this time. Her father's voice was firm. Stay close to him, observe. And if his presence continues to cause disruption, remove the source. Zira's fingers froze. Remove? You mean eliminate? No, her father replied. Relocate. But if relocation is not possible, you know the protocol. She closed her eyes. Understood. The next day, things changed. During lunch, Zira entered the cafeteria again. The same whispers followed her. But this time, she walked straight to Leo's table. He looked up and gave a small nod. She sat down beside him. Without asking, he slid a small fruit toward her. It's called a peach. You eat the inside, not the pit. She took a bite. Her face stayed still, but she took another bite, and another. It's sweet, she said. Like memory. Leo smiled softly. That's actually a nice way to put it. Zira lowered her voice. I sent a report about you. Me? Leo asked, eyebrows raised. To my father. He said I must watch you. Leo leaned back. So I'm being studied? Yes. Should I be worried? Not yet, she answered. He laughed. Comforting. Before they could say more, the lights flickered again. This time, the flicker was longer. The screens across the room glitched for a second, and a strange symbol appeared. Just a flash. But Zira caught it. She stood up. That was Zitherian code, but old, ancient protocol. Something is broadcasting from underground. Leo stood beside her. What does it mean? Zira didn't answer right away. She stared at the floor beneath her feet. It means something alien is waking up. And it's not part of our mission. Leo glanced around. Should we tell someone? No, she said. Not yet. I need to know more. And for that, I need your help. Leo blinked. Me? Yes, Zira replied. Her silver eyes locked on his. Because somehow you're already part of it. It started with silence. Deep, strange silence that filled the hallway near the old music room. Zira walked slowly, her silver eyes glowing faintly as her wrist scanner picked up a signal. The signal was weak, but it was pulsing, like a heartbeat, but not human. Leo followed close behind her, carrying a flashlight and a nervous look. Are you sure about this? He whispered. Zira didn't answer. She raised her wrist and pointed it at the locker wall. The scanner showed an outline, a hidden door, masked with human material. Zira placed her hand against the surface, and the wall shimmered briefly, revealing a faint alien marking. This wasn't built by humans, she said softly. And it's not Zitherian either. Leo looked pale. So, who built it? Zira looked back at him. I don't know. They both stepped away as the door hissed open on its own. A cold gust rushed out, air that hadn't moved in years. Zira stepped forward, but Leo grabbed her arm. You don't blink, he said suddenly. She blinked. Once. Slowly. I do when I choose. It's just weird, Leo muttered. You always seem too calm. I was trained to survive. Zira replied. They moved inside. The room was dark, filled with old chairs and boxes, but behind the fake walls was a hidden elevator shaft, still faintly powered. The elevator wasn't working, but the emergency ladder remained. Without a word, Zira grabbed the ladder and began to climb down. Leo hesitated but followed. Each step felt heavier. The deeper they went, the colder it became. After nearly 10 minutes, they reached a floor no one at the school knew existed. It was a wide metallic corridor with glowing blue lights along the floor edges. This isn't school property, Leo whispered. No, Zira replied. It's a holding chamber, old, maybe from the first Galactic Contact Treaty. The hallway led to a sealed chamber. Zira pressed her hand to the door. Her wrist implant sparked, and the door slid open with a slow groan. Inside the chamber was a large, dark glass container, cracked at the base. Symbols ran along the floor, and in the corner, something moved. Leo stepped back quickly. Did you see that? Zira didn't speak. Her eyes were locked on the corner. The shadows shifted again. Then, something crawled out. Thin, pale, and nearly invisible. A creature, but not Zitherian, not human. It had long limbs, glass-like skin, and eyes that reflected no light. It's a Rexari, Zira whispered, voice tense. It feeds on thought energy. It shouldn't be here. The creature hissed softly, but it didn't attack. It stayed near, the edge of the room, watching them with cold interest. What is it doing? Leo asked, sweating. Hiding, Zira said. It's afraid. Of what? Zira scanned the chamber again. It's not hunting, it's running, but from what? Suddenly the lights flickered again. The creature vanished from sight, blending into the wall like a shadow. Leo gasped. We need to leave, he said. But Zira didn't move. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the cracked glass container. Her eyes widened. This wasn't a prison, she whispered. It was protection. This was holding the creature, but not to trap it, to hide it. Hide it from who? Leo asked. Zira's voice dropped. From us. As they turned to leave, Zira's scanner beeped rapidly. Behind them, another panel on the wall lit up, an interface in old galactic code. Leo stepped forward without thinking and placed his hand near it. "Leo," Zira warned. The interface responded immediately to his touch. A bright light flashed, and a voice echoed through the chamber. "Human signature confirmed. Commander Class, access, welcome back." Zira stared at Leo like he was a different person. "Commander Class? I don't know what that means," Leo stammered. Zira stepped closer. There were no Earth commanders in the original contact records. That title was only given to genetic leaders, chosen ones in war protocols. "I'm just a kid," Leo said. "Maybe not," Zira replied. The wall shifted again and new paths opened, more doors, more secrets. But something else came too. A sound deep and mechanical. A second system was waking up, something larger, something older. Zira grabbed Leo's arm. "We can't stay here, not now." They climbed back up the shaft quickly, heartbeats racing. Behind them, the chamber closed again like nothing had happened. Back in the hallway, the normal school bell rang. Students rushed to class, unaware of what lay just under their feet. Leo leaned against the wall, breathing hard. What just happened? Zira stood still. The school is built on forgotten tech. That's not an accident. Leo looked at her, afraid. "You're not blinking again." "I can't afford to," she said. "Not anymore." Zira sat on the roof of the school, knees pulled to her chest, staring out at the horizon. The sky was peaceful. Soft clouds floating by like they didn't know what was buried beneath them. But she knew. Leo knew. And the creature they had seen, the Rixari, was still somewhere below, invisible, quiet, waiting. She hadn't spoken much since their return from the lower levels. She hadn't even sent a message to her father. Not yet. Something felt wrong, not just about the Rixari, but about Leo too. The way the ancient alien system responded to him, Commander Class access, Zira couldn't ignore it. Below, in the hallways, students moved like nothing had changed. For them, nothing had. But Zira saw everything differently now. The Tao. Air wasn't as clean. The walls weren't just walls anymore. Every vent, every flicker of light, every sound was something to question. She moved down from the roof and found Leo by the library windows. He looked tired, eyes red like he hadn't slept. He had dark circles under them and his hands kept fidgeting with the corner of a textbook. "You felt it too," she said. He nodded slowly. "It's still here." Zira sat beside him. "The Rexari is scared, it's hiding." "From what?" Leo asked again. "I don't know. But if it's afraid, that means it's not the danger. Something else is." Leo leaned forward. "Then why does it keep following me?" She looked at him closely. "You're connected now. The system below thinks you're someone important. That might be why it's watching you." Leo gave a small laugh, but it was full of worry. "I can't even pass math. Now I'm some alien key." Zira didn't smile. Her fingers hovered over her wrist device. "I ran a search last night. There's no human DNA recorded with Commander Class clearance, except yours." Leo looked up sharply. "You scanned me?" "I had to," she said softly. "To protect you, or others from you, if needed." He said nothing. That evening, something changed again. During cleaning hour, the janitor went missing. Security searched the school but found nothing. All that was left was his mop, bent in half, and his access card lying near the basement door. The area was sealed off, but Zira felt it the moment she walked near it. A presence. Cold. Not hostile. But heavy. She turned to Leo. "It's moving again." They returned to the stairwell that led down to the restricted levels. The light above the door flickered twice, then stayed on. Zira took a breath. "Stay here." "No," Leo said, stepping beside her. "I'm part of this now, right?" She looked at him for a second longer, then nodded. They stepped into the lower levels again, walking in silence. This time, the lights were already on. The hallway had changed. There were markings now, alien ones, glowing on the walls like veins of light. Zira touched one and the glow followed her finger. The Rexari had left a path. "It wants us to follow," she said. They walked slowly, deeper than before. The air was thick, almost electric. At the end of the corridor, they reached a chamber that wasn't there before. Inside was the creature. It stood on two legs, tall and thin but trembling. Its glass-like body was cracked along the chest and it was holding something, a broken metal disc with Zetherian and human symbols mixed together. Zira's breath caught. "That's a warning beacon." The Rexari turned and placed the beacon on the ground before them. Then it made a strange gesture, its long fingers touching its chest, then pointing up. "It's warning us," Leo said, his voice low. Zira nodded. "But about what?" Suddenly, the beacon blinked red. A sound echoed through the walls, metal grinding, something rising from below. Zira stepped back. "It's coming." Leo looked confused. "What's coming?" Zira grabbed his arm. "Not the Rexari. Something worse. Something that was hunting it." A steel door at the back of the room groaned open. Cold air rushed in, and for a second, there was only darkness. Then, something massive stepped forward. It had no face. Just a single, red eye and a body made of black, angular plates. Its voice rumbled from its chest. "Target confirmed, unauthorized life forms detected, initiating cleanse." Zira pushed Leo behind her. "Run!" the Rexari screamed, but it wasn't a sound. It was a pulse of energy that hit the thing square, in the chest. The red eye blinked once, then again. It froze, but only for a second. Leo stared in horror. "What is that thing?" Zira's voice shook. "A purge unit, from the early war days, programmed to destroy all unknown life." "Then, why is it here?" Zira looked at the blinking beacon. "Someone buried it here long ago and now it's waking up." The red eye of the purge unit glowed brighter as its arms unfolded, each one made of sharp black metal. Its body gave off a low hum, like a machine charging for battle. Zira stepped in front of Leo, her hand outstretched, her wrist scanner flashing. "Stay behind me," she said firmly. Leo was frozen in place, heart pounding. The Rexari shrieked again, this time louder, its body flickering like a broken light. It tried to protect them, but the purge unit swatted it away like it was nothing. The creature hit the wall with a loud crack and collapsed, unmoving. Zira's eyes narrowed. Her blood began to glow. Not red, not blue, violet, bright, alive. It started at her fingertips and ran up her arms, flowing through her veins like light in a pipe. Her whole body shimmered with energy. She took one step forward, and the ground cracked beneath her. The purge unit scanned her. Unrecognized Zetherian energy signature, threat level, high. Zira didn't blink. She raised her hands and spoke, something in her native tongue. The lights around the chamber flickered violently. The temperature dropped. The purge unit moved fast, swinging its blade-like arms toward her, but Zira was faster. With one wave of her hand, a pulse of violet energy shot forward, blasting the machine back. It slammed against the wall, sparks flying. Leo stared in shock. "Zira, what are you?" She didn't turn. Her voice was steady, but colder. "My father is the ambassador, but my mother was a battleborn." Leo had never heard that term before. "Battleborn?" Zira finally turned her head, her glowing eyes locking onto his. "Zetherian hybrids made for war. Stronger, smarter, dangerous." Leo's voice cracked. "You're one of them?" She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped forward again as the purge unit recovered, its red eye narrowed. Lethal force activated, it charged. Zira moved like lightning. She ducked under its blade, jumped off the wall and drove her glowing fist into its chest. The impact echoed through the room. The machine sparked and twisted but stayed standing. It swung its arm, slashing across her shoulder. Zira winced, but didn't fall. Her blood spilled across the floor, glowing violet. Leo rushed toward her. "You're bleeding!" "Don't touch it," she shouted. "My blood is reactive to human DNA." He froze mid-step. The purge unit raised its arm again, this time aiming for Leo. Zira's face changed. She didn't speak. She didn't warn. She screamed, not with fear, but with fury. The air trembled as her body exploded with light. Her veins lit up brighter, and the entire room was bathed in violet. The machine tried to scan her, but the data overloaded. Error. Energy level exceeds limit. Too late. Zira struck it again, this time with both hands. The energy wave shattered the machine's chest. It collapsed, pieces flying, red eye, flickering. It let out a dying mechanical groan as smoke rose from its broken shell. Then silence. Zira dropped to one knee, breathing hard. The glow in her body slowly faded. Leo ran to her side, ignoring the warning. "I said, don't touch," she whispered. "You're hurt," he replied. She looked up at him. "So are you. Just on the inside." Leo laughed weakly. "That's fair." Behind them, the Rexari twitched and opened its eyes again. It was still alive. Barely. It looked at Zira, then at Leo, and made a weak motion with its hand. "What's it doing?" Leo asked. Zira crawled over and placed her hand on the creature's arm. The Rexari's skin flickered and an image appeared in the air. A hologram. It showed the school blueprints, and then beneath that, a hidden core deep underground. Zira's eyes widened. "There's another unit. A larger one. Still sleeping." Leo's voice was tight. "If this one was bad, what happens if the next one wakes up?" She stood slowly. "It won't. Not if I stop it." "But you're injured," he said. Zira looked at her arm. The blood had stopped glowing. The wound was closing. "I heal fast," she said. "Battleborn." Leo looked down at the broken purge unit. Why would someone hide these things under a school? Zira frowned. Maybe they weren't hiding them. Maybe they were planting them. He looked up at her. "You mean a trap?" "Yes," she said softly. "And now, it's starting." They both stood in silence, the hum of broken machines echoing around them. Zira stared at the cracked wall, at the image of the sleeping core below. Leo placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "We stop it together, right?" Zira looked at his hand. Her eyes softened. "Together." The hallway lights buzzed softly as Zira and Leo stepped back into the upper school level, leaving the shattered machine and wounded Rexari behind in the depths. The students upstairs laughed, joked, and moved through their normal routines, completely unaware of the war-shaped secret buried beneath their feet. But Zira and Leo weren't the same anymore. They walked in silence past lockers and classrooms, both of them different than they were just hours ago. Zira's uniform was torn at the shoulder, faint violet stains still visible on the fabric. Leo had dust in his hair and something more, a new weight in his eyes. Zira finally spoke as they reached the science lab. "You handled yourself well." Leo sat down on the edge of a desk and let out a long breath. "I was scared out of my mind." "That's normal," she said simply. "Fear means you're still human." Leo looked at her. "And you? What are you when you bleed light?" Zira paused, then looked away. Half warrior, half tool. Made in a lab. Raised to follow orders to fight when diplomacy fails. Leo shook his head. "But you saved me. You protected the school." "I protected you," she corrected softly. "Not the school. You." He was quiet for a moment, then asked, "Why me?" Zira touched the side of her head where her translator implant rested under her skin. "Because when I first met you, my systems changed. My code glitched. And for the first time, I felt something I wasn't programmed to understand." Leo frowned. "Emotion? No. Trust." The room went silent again, filled only by the quiet hum of the wall projector. Then Leo leaned forward. "You said there's another machine, bigger." Zira nodded. The Rexari showed us a hidden core beneath this entire region. A sleeping unit, older, possibly stronger. Leo stood and began to pace. Then we need to wake someone up. The government, the military, your people. Zira's jaw tightened. If we tell anyone, they'll erase everything. This school, this city, you. Leo froze. Why me? Because your DNA activated the first system, she said. To them, that makes you unpredictable. Dangerous. Leo dropped into the chair again. So we're alone. Not alone, she corrected. Together. He looked up at her and gave a tired half-smile. Right. The battle-born and the B- student. Zira didn't laugh, but her eyes softened. I don't think grades measure courage. Later that evening, Zira sat outside her dorm under the stars. She sent a silent message to her father, but this time she changed her words. Mission progress stable. Student Leo shows unexpected compatibility with ancient tech. Potential key to preventing deeper activation. I recommend no interference. The reply was immediate. Noted. You are authorized to act independently. But if the threat expands, extraction will be forced. She read the message twice, then deleted it. She didn't plan to leave. Across the field, Leo approached slowly, holding 2 cups of something warm. It's cocoa, he said, offering her one. Humans drink it when they're scared. Or cold, or confused. Zira took the cup carefully. She sniffed it first, then sipped. Her eyes blinked once. It's sweet. Like memory, he said, smiling. Her silver eyes met his. You remembered. They sat side by side in silence. Then Leo asked, Zira, do you think I'm part alien? She turned to him, truly thinking about it. No, but I think you're something else. Maybe something the old systems never planned for. Leo looked up at the stars. Do you miss home? Yes, she said, but I'm starting to like parts of this world too. He smiled. Which part? She looked at him and simply said, You. Before he could reply, her wrist scanner beeped sharply. Zira stood quickly and checked the screen. Her eyes narrowed. What is it? Leo asked. The larger purge unit, she said slowly. It just moved. Leo stood too. Woke up? No, Zira replied. Something else woke it. They stared at each other, hearts beating faster now. Then Leo asked quietly, If it's awake, can we stop it? Zira looked down at her hands. The light in her veins was gone now. She was tired, but she still stood tall. We have to try. He stepped beside her. Together? She nodded. Together. They turned toward the school, once more. Somewhere below, something ancient and deadly had stirred, but now it wasn't just Zira who would face it, a human and an alien. 2 worlds. 1 chance. The next morning came quietly, as if the world hadn't noticed the shift in the ground beneath it. The students at Red Ridge High walked through the halls carrying books and gossip like usual. But far beneath their feet, in the old hidden levels of the school, something ancient was no longer asleep. Zira stood at the edge of the elevator shaft with Leo beside her. She was in full Zetherian combat gear, slim armor that shimmered with soft blue light. Her silver eyes didn't blink. Her pulse was steady, but inside she felt something new, fear and hope. Leo adjusted the strap on his backpack, which now held a pulse disruptor they had built together the night before. It was messy, homemade, barely tested, but it was all they had. Are you sure it'll work? He asked. Zira didn't answer at first. Then she said, It's not about being sure. It's about trying, even when you're not. Leo gave a short laugh. You're starting to sound human. She turned to him. And you're starting to sound like a leader. They climbed down together, step by step, heading once more into the dark. As they reached the final level, the air was colder. The walls shook softly, like something below was breathing. The main chamber had changed. The metal floor was cracked open, and rising from the center was the second purge unit, 3 times the size of the first. It had 4 legs, 2 arms, and a single massive red eye that scanned everything. Life form detected, it announced. Earth biological, galactic hybrid, initiating erasure. Zira stepped forward. Not today. She raised her wrist and the beacon the Rexari gave her lit up. The machine paused. Leo followed, placing his hand on the beacon. Suddenly the lights across the room flickered, and a pulse of energy spread out like a wave. The purge units. I blinked. Commander class genetic code confirmed. Earth access. Granted. Leo's hand shook. Did I just override it? Not fully, Zira said, voice tense. You slowed it, but it's not shutting down. The red eye turned toward them again. Conflict detected. Primary mission resumed. The machine raised its arm, then fired. Zira pushed Leo behind a console. The blast missed by inches, tearing through the wall. Smoke and sparks flew everywhere. She rose again, her armor glowing bright. Her voice was calm but sharp. This ends now. She launched forward faster than any human could see. She struck the purge unit's leg, forcing it back, but it didn't fall. Its arms came down fast, and one caught her, slamming her into the wall. Leo screamed her name. Zira coughed, blood in her mouth. But her violet veins began to glow again. She stood up, trembling, but still strong. I'm not just my mother's creation, she whispered. I'm something new. Leo ran to the control panel and pulled out the disruptor. He aimed it at the beacon still glowing in the floor. If I boost this signal, will it shut it down? It might kill us, Zira warned. He looked at her. Then let's hope we're lucky. He slammed the switch. A blinding wave of light exploded through the chamber. The purge unit screamed, not in voice but in signal. Its red eye blinked rapidly. Its metal skin cracked, shaking. The ground trembled as systems overloaded. Zira used the last of her strength to leap onto the machine, driving her glowing hand into its core. The light from her body fused with the energy pulse. Shut down, she shouted. The purge unit gave one final jolt, then collapsed. Smoke filled the room. Lights faded. Silence. Leo coughed and crawled toward her. Zira lay on the ground, breathing hard, her armor dim. Are you okay? He asked. She looked up weakly. I think... yes. He smiled and helped her sit up. For the first time, she leaned against him. Above them, alarms rang through the school. Emergency signals, military transports approaching. They'll be here, soon, Zira said. What do we tell them? The truth, she whispered. That a human and a Zetherian saved this place, together. Later that day, news spread across the galaxy. A young human boy and the daughter of an alien ambassador had stopped a forgotten weapon buried under Earth's soil. The school was closed for investigation, but the students remembered. Especially the moment when Zira and Leo were seen walking side by side, not as strangers but as something new, something stronger. As Zira left with her father's ship, she looked back one last time. Leo stood watching. She raised her hand. He did too. No. Words, but no words were needed. They had already changed everything. Together.